Hi, it's Vernon again. Today, I want to open a window into something most men rarely talk about: what really happens in their hearts after intimacy. You only focus on his actions afterward. Does he stay close or pull away? But what he feels after intimacy isn't about whether the moment was perfect. It's something deeper. Something that reveals whether he sees you as someone he cherishes or someone he's quietly drifting from. Most women over 60 think his behavior afterward is unpredictable. It isn't. It's the clearest mirror of how he views you and himself in this connection. For women, intimacy often feels like a bridge that brings closeness. For men, it's more like a mirror reflecting their true intentions and emotions. That's why some move closer afterward, while others suddenly need space, even when the experience was beautiful. So in this video, I'll share 5 emotional truths, what men really feel and think after intimacy, and how to read the signals behind the silence. Before we begin, like this video and subscribe to this channel, Vernon After 60, where women over 60 learn the deeper psychology of men and how to build emotional connections that truly last. I've heard it from countless men. After the closeness fades, the first feeling that hits them isn't pride or satisfaction. It's something far more human. 1. He feels deep vulnerability. After intimacy, many men don't feel powerful or victorious. Instead, they feel deeply vulnerable, emotionally exposed in a way that both draws them closer and frightens them. Think about it this way. In those quiet moments afterward, all his defenses are down. The masks he wears in daily life, the provider, the protector, the strong one, they've all been set aside. What remains is just him, raw and real. And for many men, especially those who've spent decades learning to hide their emotions, this vulnerability can be overwhelming. My close friend David, who's 67 and recently widowed, once told me something profound. We were sitting on his porch after he'd started dating again, and he said, "Vernon, the first quiet minute after intimacy is when I feel most exposed, not most powerful. It's like she can see straight through to parts of me I forgot existed." This vulnerability explains why some men seem to retreat emotionally right after physical closeness. It's not because they didn't enjoy it or don't care about you. It's because they're processing feelings they rarely allow themselves to experience. They're dealing with the beautiful terror of being truly seen by another person. Women often interpret this withdrawal as rejection, but understanding this vulnerability changes everything. When you create space for his emotional exposure without judgment, when you don't demand immediate verbal processing, you're giving him the safety to feel without fear. To borrow the words of the poet Rumi, and I paraphrase in everyday words, "In your vulnerability lies your strength, because only the brave allow themselves to be seen completely." But vulnerability soon turns into something else, a moment of deep reflection. 2. He reflects on the emotional connection, not the act. Here's something that can completely change how you understand men. After intimacy, mature men rarely replay the physical moments. Instead, they think about the feeling, the trust, safety, and emotional connection they shared with you. This reflection is profound and often silent. He's not thinking about technique or performance. He's thinking about whether he felt accepted, whether you seemed genuinely present with him, whether the connection felt real or performed. He's processing the emotional safety you created together. As Maya Angelou wisely said, and I'll put it simply, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. This is never more true than in intimate moments. This emotional reflection is why some men become more attentive afterward, while others seem distant. If the emotional connection felt genuine and safe, he's likely planning how to deepen it. If it felt empty or performed, he might be questioning the relationship's authenticity. Do you believe the true intimacy comes from emotional connection rather than physical actions? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Share your experiences about how emotional safety has transformed your relationships. But for some men, that connection can stir something deeper, even confusion. When a man feels a level of closeness he isn't used to, it can awaken emotions he's long buried or avoided. He might pull back, not because he doesn't care, but because he's suddenly face to face with feelings he doesn't know how to handle. For women, this moment often feels like rejection. But in truth, it's often a man's way of protecting himself from vulnerability he hasn't learned to navigate. Understanding this helps you stay calm. Instead of reacting to his distance, you recognize it as proof that something meaningful just touched him. And that's where the next truth begins. Because when vulnerability surfaces, it often forces a man to confront something even deeper. 3. He questions his readiness for true closeness. Intimacy can force a man to confront his own readiness for genuine closeness, and this self-examination can be terrifying. As Carl Jung once observed, and I'll say it plainly, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. For many men, intimacy becomes that moment of complete acceptance of themselves and from you, and it can shake them to their core. After intimacy, he might find himself thinking, "Am I ready to let someone this close? Can I handle caring this much? What if I mess this up like I've messed up before?" These aren't questions about you, they're questions about his own emotional capacity and past wounds. My younger brother once shared something that stayed with me. He was in his early 60s dating after his divorce, and he said, "Vernon, the moment I realized how much I actually cared about her, that's when I pulled away. Not because I didn't want her, but because I wasn't sure I could handle wanting her that much." This internal questioning explains why some men become inconsistent after intimacy. One day they're fully present, the next they seem distant. They're not playing games, they're having an internal battle between their desire for connection and their fear of emotional risk. Understanding this helps you respond with patience rather than pressure. When a man is questioning his readiness, the worst thing you can do is demand immediate commitment or emotional declarations. Instead, consistent warmth and emotional stability help him work through his fears. Please share this video with your friends or women's groups. So many women blame themselves when men pull away after closeness, not realizing it's often about his internal process, not her worth. 4. He feels respect and admiration for emotional safety. When a woman creates genuine emotional safety, without judgment, demands, or performance pressure, a man often feels deep respect and admiration that goes far beyond physical attraction. This respect is profound because emotional safety is rare. In a world where men are often expected to perform, provide, and never show weakness, finding a woman who accepts their full humanity is extraordinary. After intimacy with such a woman, he's not just thinking about her body, he's thinking about her character. He's reflecting on how she made him feel safe to be imperfect, how she didn't judge his vulnerabilities,
how she seemed to appreciate his authentic self rather than just his role as provider or protector. This kind of woman stands out in his memory because she touched something deeper than desire. She touched his soul. This respect often translates into long-term thinking. He starts considering not just whether he enjoys her company, but whether he could build a real life with someone who understands him so deeply. He begins imagining growing old with someone who creates this level of emotional safety. The respect he feels isn't just romantic, it's profound human appreciation for being accepted completely. When a man finds this, he doesn't just want to be with you physically. He wants to protect and cherish the emotional sanctuary you've created together. In the words of Maya Angelou, and I'll share it simply, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. But I'd add, when someone shows you that you're safe to be who you are, treasure them. And when respect settles in, something even rarer begins, a sense of gratitude. 5. He feels quiet gratitude, even if he doesn't say it. Have you ever wondered what a man truly feels after meaningful intimacy, beyond the silence and the slowing breath? Often, it's not desire that fills him, but a quiet, unspoken gratitude, not for the moment itself, but for the rare feeling of being completely accepted just as he is. This gratitude is often silent because it runs so deep. How do you thank someone for making you feel worthy of love? How do you express appreciation for being seen completely and chosen anyway? Many men carry this gratitude like a quiet treasure, remembering it long after the physical moment has passed. The philosopher Meister Eckhart once said, and I'll put it simply, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. For many men, this silent gratitude becomes their prayer. The gratitude extends beyond the bedroom. He's grateful for your patience with his emotional processing, your acceptance of his imperfections, your willingness to be vulnerable with him. This explains why some men become more generous, more attentive, more protective after intimate connection with a woman who truly accepts them. The gratitude transforms into action, not because they feel obligated, but because they feel genuinely thankful for the emotional sanctuary you've created together. Save this video to watch again whenever you find yourself worrying about a man's post-intimacy silence. Remember, sometimes that quiet isn't indifference, it's reverence. Because in the end, what he feels after intimacy isn't about the body, it's about the bond.
If you've watched this far, then you understand something profound about the male heart that many women never discover. True intimacy creates an emotional earthquake in a man's soul, and his response to that earthquake tells you everything about how he values you and your connection. When a man is quiet after intimacy, don't assume indifference. Sometimes his struggle to find words isn't because he doesn't feel deeply, but because he feels too deeply for simple language. The most beautiful relationships happen when women understand that men's emotional processing often happens in silence, and men learn to share glimpses of their inner world, even when words feel inadequate. The ancient philosopher Lao Tzu reminded us, and I'll share it plainly, those who know do not speak, those who speak do not know. Sometimes a man's deepest feelings are held in sacred silence because they're too precious for casual conversation. Of these 5 emotions, which one have you seen most clearly in the men in your life? Share your observations in the comments below. Like this video if it helped you understand the beautiful complexity of the male heart. Subscribe to my channel for more elderly wisdom about love and connection. And share this with other women who deserve to understand the depth beneath masculine silence. Together, we can create deeper, more understanding relationships built on emotional wisdom rather than surface assumptions. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.